I'm Joe with JoeandJoz.com, A Quilter's Paradise. Today's topic is I'm going to show you how to properly quilt a pantograph. We have loaded our quilt. Now we are ready to begin the pantograph. You load your quilt, you put a seam down each side to secure it, attach your clamps. Now we're going to use painter's tape and we're going to find our perimeters of our quilt, our beginning and our end. So I have found the beginning of our quilt, so therefore I'm going to take a piece of painter's tape and I'm going to mark that next to my laser light. And then I'm going to bring my machine down and we're going to find our end. Okay, now we've come to the end and we're going to mark our end with the painter's tape. So take your painter's tape, go on this side of your laser light, and mark your strip. Cut. Okay, now that we have our quilting space set, our beginning and our ending, we are ready to begin quilting. So you'll need to bring up your bobbin thread. First find your starting spot, bring up your bobbin thread, and you will be ready to begin quilting. As you begin quilting, you will notice that part of the pantograph here on the end is cut off. This is what we call the beginning or the top of the quilt. So it will not be a full motif. So I run the top of my quilt even with this here. And that's how I've started it. Okay, we have completed our first row in the pantograph. This was the top part that goes up at the top of your quilt. Now we're ready to complete our first full row. So in this pantograph, Flowering Fantasy, it's an 8-inch wide pattern. So we're going to cut our thread off here and we are going to just go to the other side without having to roll our quilt yet. You will find your starting position, and each time you do this it'll be just a little bit different depending on what size your quilt is. And we are going to begin our first full row on the pantograph. We have now just finished our first partial row and our first full row on this pantograph. The key to a pantograph is to make sure that you are going at a moderate to good speed. If you go too slow, your curves are not going to be very clear and neat. The quicker you go, the better it'll be. So now you've seen this, and also when you're on a pantograph, you're following a line with a laser light. You do not have to stay on that line completely. It's okay if you vary from it just a little bit, because as you can see, once you've done this, it will all blend together. So don't get all upset if you are not staying completely on the lines. It will all blend together. Okay, we're ready to roll our quilt for the first row. So I have sunk my needle at the top of this row. This is our first full row here. So I find the tallest part on this row, and I will sink my needle in here, and I will roll it until the needle comes to this flower right here. That was pretty close. Okay, we are ready to start our next full row. I always make sure, I always check and see how close these are going to be to the next one that I had just done to make sure that I'm in the right spot, and it looks fine. So now we're going to begin quilting. I hope you enjoyed this video from JoeandJoz.com, A Quilter's Paradise. If you would like to see other tips and tricks videos, please go to our website, JoeandJoz.com, A Quilter's Paradise. At Joe and Joe's, you will find a variety of pantographs in paper and digital format to accommodate all long arm machines. Thank you.